everyone, and welcome, Wayward Gamers, to the Emporium. Yes, Wayward Gamers to the Emporium for the Wayward Gamer. I am Jay, your host, your GM of Evil, because we are playing Hunter the Reckoning, and evil is what we do, isn't it? No. Anyways, I am Jay, also known as Neo53 in the social. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Emporium for the Wayward Gamer. We have some wonderful and talented players here in our new actual play Hunter Team Beta. This is episode 1, our inaugural episode of a larger series that some of you are going to be like, ooh, what do you have brewing here? We will tell you in a moment. But before we jump in and share all these wonderful storylines that we want to share with you, two things we need to do. One, we want to thank our helpers, sponsors, affiliates, and basically general individuals and groups that have helped us get here. The first of all is Demiplane. Demiplane has been so kind to us, be able to help us get our game off the ground, and we are finally off the ground, and we want to thank them profusely, because I can't talk, I'm a GM, that they've been so kind for us, and we want to give them a great shout out. So go check out Demiplane. They've got their Hunter, they've got a whole bunch of other games, so check them out. Additionally, Talon and Claw and Smuggler's Coffee are our friends and affiliates here at the Emporium for the Wayward Gamer, and they have wonderful products. Go check them out. In chat, you're going to be seeing some stuff pop up on where the links and things like that. Check them out. They're also very, very good. Before we jump into the storyline, I want to introduce these wonderful and talented and brave souls that have decided to jump into this game. Dan, please introduce yourself, and who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Daniel Pelletier. I'm playing Dr. Thaddeus Marigold.
Excellent. And we're going to dive into exactly what you look like and what type of personality you is in a little bit as we jump into the game. But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here and on this wonderful stretch series, so to speak. Next,
to be here.
Again, we have another wonderful and talented Artem. How are you doing, sir? And who are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. I am Artem Yatsanov, and I'll be playing Nurse Hope Fleming.
Ooh, Nurse Hope Fleming. I believe she has a special item that is going to be possibly used tonight. That will,
Okay.
I'm intrigued to see if it's going to happen.
Me too.
Thank you so much. Last but never least, our wonderful, wonderful, talented person who's been on the channel before, Emily. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm playing Matilda Bleeker tonight. Should be an interesting way to go. I hope the item is smelling salts. That way, if the good doctor falls unconscious, we can wake him up real quick.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, it's very close to smelling salts.
Yeah, I'm
No.
thinking. And for those that know, Emily is one of our special guests that we are having here at the Emporium for this wonderful series. So we do have a core group of players as well as some guest players. And Emily is our first guest player, and hopefully she will be able to join us further down the line and further up. But welcome, Emily, for being here and our wonderful horror game. This is one of our first horror games here, or specifically mine, here on the channel. So this is going to be quite interesting to see. For those who are joining us, you're like, Jay, you're rambling. What are you talking about? Well, we are playing Hunter the Reckoning, which is a World of Darkness game. So some of you will be like, ooh, World of Darkness, vampires, werewolves, and yes, all that stuff is in, but we're playing the 5th edition of Hunter the Reckoning, and we are combining a lot of that, and we're doing something different in this episode. This is a series. So this particular one-shot is a one-shot series that leads up to a continuation. And so this is set in the 1939. Our team that has been assembled here is kind of working through an offshoot government agency or connected to a government agency. they're a private agency that they've been asked to investigate some strange occurrences, some supernatural occurrences. This particular group, the Hunters, the Sigil of the Hunters, they basically go out and kind of check out different unknown, suspicious, different things that kind of crop up. This particular team, Hunter Team Beta, is part of the Michigan team, which is the Michigan Chronicle. So as you can see, with the series is a chronicle of what happens. And this particular episode 1 shot, is in the 1939. So we pick up our group as they are heading to Whitehall, which is our actual fictitious town in Michigan that may or may not be haunted. There's some strange going on at a local lighthouse. This particular lighthouse, for some reason at night, has been showing red light on and off instead of its standard white lights. And so there's been also some strange noises happening on this particular lighthouse in Whitehall. So the Whitehall Lighthouse is where our team is investigating. And as the nice vehicle that is being driven just on approach to Whitehall city limits, we pick up as our 3 characters and players are sitting in the car on their way to investigate the lighthouse, which brings up a question. Is it night or daytime?
Well, the lights show best at night anyway.
Is when the problem shows up.
Right. You don't want to go looking in the morning for a problem that happens in the afternoon.
Well, certainly you wouldn't want to find anything in the morning that could have been taken care of in the evening.
That too. Always good to be prepared, Hope.
Well, I certainly feel ready for just a typical, everyday, simple, no
Watch the
fuss,
bump.
no muss. Oh! I'm sure nothing unusual will happen tonight, yes?
Well, I think we hope something unusual happens. That's the
I mean,
whole
that's
point.
why
is
they're
that
sending us.
when-
Oh dear, I guess you must be right. If they're sending us in, I suppose something unusual will happen. Regardless, I'm ready.
Right then. So, have we got everything we need together? I know I've got all the things I usually carry, but, it feels a little like we might be packing light, if you catch my meaning.
Oh, I've got my kit. Should handle us fine.
Yes, I've got all the particular remedies we might need should we encounter some more forceful resistance, and of course, I hold up my 12-gauge shotgun. Certainly never leave the home without this.
Never. Always bring your. It's an important rule that every lady must bring her shoddy with her.
I take it to the grocery store, to the library.
Put in the umbrella stand when you get home.
That's right.
What does Matilda look like?
Matilda is sort of out of fashion. She's wearing clothing fashions that are maybe 2-3 years older. She doesn't look like she's fully on the top fashions, but she still has, she keeps herself well. She has a nice hat. And she is dressed in a very practical, neutral color, like a darker gray coat and skirt, with some very low heels, better for running in. And a locket around her neck.
And how does her hair done? Color of her hair, and generally, is there anything specific about her appearance that stands out?
Right now, and Hope and the good doctor would know this. She is wearing a wig under the hat that makes her hair blonde.
Mm-hmm.
For the purpose of going out. So her real hair is tucked up under the wig and the hat.
Mm-hmm.
What is Hope, Nurse Hope? Please describe Nurse Hope to us, please.
Yeah, Nurse Hope is like in her early 30s, and she's currently wearing a long dark green raincoat that kind of goes from shoulder almost down to the ankle. Um and she's wearing a very practical um like blazer and like a women's business suit underneath this. So it's like a blazer and skirt situation. And she's opted for field boots, kind of the kind of thing she will wear around the farm property, and she has very few qualms about wearing it out for missions and such. Uh, she's also wearing a like a derby to protect her hair from any rain. Probably the most distinctive feature of Hope's appearance in general is that Hope is missing a right eye. Um, it had been gouged out a little over a decade ago, and there's some scarring over it, some scar tissue. But she certainly does make a striking first first impression.
Does she have a prosthetic eye or a patch over her eye?
She sometimes wears a patch when it's not too hot or too rainy out, when it's kind of dry. But I think right now, since it's the evening, she's opting for maximizing practicality. So nothing that could get in the way.
Okay. Thank you. And the good Dr. Thaddeus, please describe that Dr. Thaddeus for us.
Dr. Thaddeus is a man of some means, so he is intentionally dressing down for this outing. He's got just a pretty simple shirt. It's got the suit jacket over it, but it's not a fancy suit jacket. And then he's opted for a nice newsboy's cap instead of his normal, much nicer hat. And of course, he has his go bags and his components all tucked away in various spots on his person, and of course his cane, which he doesn't need because he's a quite young man, just under 30.
Now, does Dr. Thaddeus have any facial hair? What color hair does he have?
Dr. Thaddeus has just some dark, pretty standard short-cut hair, and he has some glasses, very similar to mine, and he has two moles right there. Other than that, he's clean-shaven, and he's a relatively handsome man.
Now, of course, some of you did some research before going, that you were given this assignment a few days ago, and it took you, a few days to kind of get to where, but maybe a day to kind of get to where you're going. It's the 1930s. So most of the roads are, they're starting to come up. They're still a little bumpy. But Michigan has actually got some decent roads, considering it is the automotive center of the country. And as you're making your way, it got a little bit more dirt roads, and you make your way into Whitehall city limits, and you pretty much know where the Lighthouse is based off of where this town is. And in your research before you came, some information that popped up was that this particular this building is a Norman Gothic style building. It was first built in 1872. It's about 38 feet tall in an octangular shape with cream yellow brick. The light from that ranges out about 14 miles. It's kind of on Lake Michigan. But what you've been hearing is that the white light, and it's flashing red at occasionally some unusual times. Not all the time, but at some unusual times during the early part. You know that there was a caretaker there at one time. Right now, it's slightly getting automated, but more or less there is someone there at any given.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're making your way, yes.
I was going to ask for added detail. When you say a caretaker was there an old caretaker who died, or just the position of caretaker was at one time filled and is not as important?
What you find out is that there was a C. Williams that died approximately almost 20 years ago, 21 years ago.
Mm.
And in your brief research, the name sounded, it came up as Captain William.
Mm.
So he was a military officer, probably from World War One. But it just struck you odd that a captain of would retire to be a lighthouse person. But he died in 1919 from the records that you found, and there's a new caretaker currently there, by the name of Josh Williams.
Mm,
Mm.
May or may not be a relative.
I see.
And as you're making your way, if you would like to go into roll 20, um, there is some pictures that you will see in a moment as I get things organized. Do the it's not gonna be there. It is.
Aw, look
Okay.
at that picture of the group. There's some group that I guess commemorated it.
Yep. So that is. These are, as you're getting closer, these are what you're going to see when you get there.
Hmm.
As in, this is the building we're going to see, or
Yep.
like these photos are on the wall?
No, this is the building you're actually going to see. So I was able
Cool.
to pull up some building types, and so this is a picture. There's a house, and then there's a little bit of a yard. There's some grass, and this octangular or octagonic lighthouse is there that is going out on the lake.
Got it.
And based off of your driving, you're gonna get there right at, what do you want to say, dawn or excuse me, dusk?
Right at the sunset would be
Sunset?
very moody.
And you pull up, the sun starting to set on the water, and you take that moment of that beautiful light glimmering off, that reddish light glimmering off the lake as you kind of pull in a little bit closer, and you that beautiful look and interesting scene of majestic peace. Foreshadow is not my forte. Actually,
Isn't this
might be.
lovely? Isn't this lovely? Let's hope the red light that is shining on the lake isn't just some magic trick of the reflector catching the sunsets, right?
Yes, it's quaint, almost too quaint.
Yeah. I agree with Hope.
Tell me, Doctor, do you know of any stories about the lighthouse?
Oh, I don't put too much into ghost stories myself. I'm a very practical.
So you do know of stories.
There has been a rumor that a ghost or some noises potentially have been heard over the years. Infrequent.
Mm-hmm. But, that's what we're here to investigate, so.
Right then. And I'm gonna go around as I take the car out of gear, and well, I think we had brakes by then on cars. We're in the early days of cars.
It's the 1930s.
This is still 3 on the tree era.
So I mean, we're getting. I mean, they've got. Oh yeah, there's covered. It's it is pre-World War II. So I mean, there's a lot of.
Yeah, it's still debatable whether your car has like headlights.
It does. They do have headlights. They do have headlights, definitely.
But not all cars have them.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna stop the car, take it out of gear. We're gonna assume the car I have has a brake.
Yep.
It's not a vintage car, and I'm gonna go around to the trunk. We're gonna assume it's one of the ones that actually has a trunk in the back, not one of the weird ones that has the trunk in the front.
Yep.
And I'll pull out my camera and like flash, and my notebook that I always carry with me, that has like a little strap on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right then, suppose it should be time for us to get going. And as I'm saying that, I'm like framing up a shot of the outside of the lighthouse, um, with the flash on it, particularly making sure to get the light tower section in it.
Hmm.
I start for it right away, which of course means that I end up in the picture, but
Yeah, it's just this lighthouse with a blur.
And that's how the legend began. That Blur will be investigated for the next hundreds of years.
oh, my apologies. Sorry, I didn't see them, Matilda.
All right, it will be a bit of history, as it were. I'll go ahead and start changing out the slide film to a new slide so that it can properly.
No need to rush. Doctor will be here all night, regardless. Why don't we take a look around the perimeter, perhaps, see what we can see?
Perhaps it's a good idea to introduce ourselves first.
Oh, well, yes, of course.
I mean, assuming the proprietor is here.
Oh, you meant
yes.
to the proprietor. I was like, I thought we knew each other. So I was very concerned for a moment.
Oh, my apologies. I'm flustered for the drive.
No, but you make a very good point, Doctor. Of course, we might as well try to appear as casual as possible. No need to alarm whoever might be residing here for any reason or working. We might as well keep our mission closer to ourselves.
Yes,
You
perhaps
know.
just a adventure bit we're working on as a journalist group.
Certainly, if you want
Yes.
those as my assistants. Do you know if the lieutenant told them that we would be coming?
Oh,
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't recall. No, I do remember the lieutenant being rather dodgy about how much he wished to reveal.
These things are best kept quiet to avoid a panic.
Yes.
That's fair. Well, I suppose we should head up to the door then. And I'm gonna try and locate where like the front door of the house part is.
And as you can see in the picture, the house is kind of in the back, on the side and the back, and then the towers on one of the other sides. So yeah, there's definitely a front door on one of the on the opposite side, and as you go up to it, you don't see any lights on in the house at all, and there really isn't any. There's some porch lights on that have come on, but there's no lights on inside or anything like that.
Peculiar for this time of day. Maybe they're
Hmm.
saving on gas.
Saving on oil.
Matilda, Doctor, if you just give me a moment, I just want to see if I could get a closer look, sense of things, if you will. One moment, and I'll approach the lighthouse, kind of breaking away from a little bit, and I'm gonna use my sense the unnatural perk. Which has a
all right.
just get it. Let's get right into it. Okay.
Get right into it. So what
Get
do you have to
tactical.
roll for that?
So it's let's see. That's interesting. It's a great question. Great question, Jay. So it's my sense the unnatural edge, and I have a perk with creature specialization and range.
Okay.
So, from what I understand, it is wits and occult or science, depending on what.
Wits and occult sounds good. And is there a particular creature or supernatural thing you're looking for, or?
So I believe my expertise extends specifically to demons and to ghosts.
Okay. All
So
right.
I think that's what I'd be able to sniff out, as it were.
Okay.
All right. So occult plus wits. Yeah,
This
that's
is the
5
first
dice.
roll of the game, everyone. Let's see how it goes.
Whew.
Roll that beautiful
You
dice
ready for that?
footage.
All failures.
All right, here we go.
all messy.
Ooh. Not all failures, but it certainly is mostly failures.
Oh.
I've got that's a one success.
One success. Okay.
Yes.
You don't sense anything right now. It's something feels off about this place.
Yeah,
Something
and the way
yeah.
Hmm.
and the way I think Hope kind of tries to get ascertain a picture of of a place is that she actually puts her hand over her missing right eye
Ah.
and sort of like kind of massages the area, and there's something that way links her to the space.
You and with that as you and the weather is it's nice. It's not raining or anything, but as you're feeling that there's something that's just just off. It's just not you're not connecting. You're not sensing anything familiar right now.
Yeah. Well, I'll turn back to the group and say, well, perhaps I'll take a closer look once we're inside, but I suppose it's a bit redundant to say, but let's exercise caution, shall we?
Oh,
Yes.
caution's overrated when there's something fun to do.
I trust your intuition, Nurse Fleming. We should be on, though.
Oh, I appreciate that, good doctor. And Matilda, of course, I know there's many ways to have a good time, and I guess let's try to find joy in this peculiar scenario as well. Well then, let's give it a knock, shall we?
One thing I would like to point out, Nurse Fleming. Oh, as you went over to the side, you did notice that there was a small, I don't want to say grove. It's almost as if there were like 2 to 5 like section of garden that seems to be growing cherries. Cherry trees, like small cherry trees that are just kind of in this little section close to the property. It's on the property, so to speak. And the other thing that you notice is that as you were coming back, you actually almost tripped on a hole that was being dug, that seemed to have been dug in the ground. And it's not like a small little one. It's a good size hole. It's almost like it's like a foot by 2 foot. Kind of dug.
Big enough for a tree to plant in.
Interesting.
Possibly. But definitely in a different direction than where the trees are.
Oh, watch your footing there, Hope.
Oh, thank you, doctor. I almost tripped there. Well, that's very curious.
And then you notice the other one about 3 feet away from that one.
Oh.
There was a third one in a different direction, about 15 feet away. And there's a fourth one in another odd area in this area.
Does it look like a trail to anyone else, or am I just being paranoid?
Well, it doesn't have to be a trail. It could also be that they're tracing out a shape. A very large
Perhaps
shape,
we can look at it
admittedly.
again from the top if there's no one in.
Oh, what a good idea, Doctor. And with that, I'm just going to go ahead and...
As you knock on the door, a moment passes. No
Well,
lights.
I'm sure if no one's here, and then I'm going to just go ahead and gently try to turn the handle on the door. Well, it seems that, if there was any trouble inside, we might need to check on the occupants since no one's coming to the door.
Indeed, you can't leave your door unlocked this far out.
Right, and something about Hippocrates or whatever.
Yes,
Yes, the oath and all. Well, duty calls you, right? So let's go.
I'm sure that can apply here.
And the door kind of opens with that old creak of that summer cabin that you back in the 80s when you're on there. It's just kind of.
My, they really are saving on oil.
Oh man,
And
very
as you're kind of
creaky.
looking in, there's kind of a small entryway of like a living room, and then there's like open kitchen that kind of is in the back area, and there's some hallway that goes down to the bedrooms most likely. There's some old furniture here, relatively. There's some nice wooden tables and chair close to the door, desk, so to speak. There's a cabinet with a phonograph that's kind of sitting on there as well, and some records are there.
I'm going to... Is there like a sideboard or something next to the front door?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just run my finger along it and see if there's dust buildup.
No, there is not.
Well, it looks like someone's been cleaning here at least. Uh,
Matilda, do you mind remind me the name of the person who lives here again?
it was Williams.
Josh.
Ah,
Josh.
yes.
I believe he
Josh
was a.
Williams.
Oh yes, but perhaps relationship of the captain that
Certainly
here
the
for a
same
long
last
time?
name.
Perhaps. Williams! Williams? Josh Williams? Anyone here?
Silence is returned.
I see no other reason than to investigate.
It is quite
Yes.
dark in here too. Do you have any light sources?
I'm sure we can find a candle around
Do
here
you have
somewhere.
anyone bring their flashlight?
I have flash paper, but that's not the same.
I'm-
We can get
sure I have
Fairly
a
real
certain
certain
horror
one of
vibe
you.
going though.
You've got your standard operating procedures of flashlight. Especially
I'll pull
the
out of
big
my
metal.
hunter bag my little flashlight.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah.
big flashlight.
kind of going around. What is our not our investigation or perception? What are we looking at? Now, is it insight? It's skill.
There is insight. There's wits and awareness. Wits
Awareness.
And insight.
That's
There
the
we go.
one. Yes.
Yeah.
Wits and awareness. I need everyone to give me a wits and awareness roll.
I believe I can give you that.
I certainly hope I can give you that.
That would be 3 successes.
I
Three
love it.
successes.
That would be 2 successes for hope.
I also got 3 successes on 3 dice. It's very exciting.
There we are.
Hmm.
I never get
Combining where you
lucky.
are as you're kind of moving in. It's like I said, it is as if somebody was living here, but no one's home. Until you noticed that in the kitchen, towards the back of the carpet, you got the kitchen table, and there's this nice little kind of hardy wool carpet that's kind of ringed a little bit. But as you're putting your flashlight, as you go down, you notice that it's painted a little bit with a dark red substance that's kind of soaked into part of the corner of the carpet.
Is it red or is it a rusty brown?
It would be.
I've got a handkerchief I use just for this.
It would be red. It would be a crimson, like a red.
So it's like is it still wet?
No. It is old. It is. So it is crud. Yeah, it is crud. It's.
Yeah.
With your medical backgrounds, it's probably either a day or 2 old.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
And well, looking at this, I suppose Hope kind of instinctively just assumes, oh, it's perhaps someone had come to an accident here. Hard to tell. Maybe this is blood.
As a chest doctor in particular, would I gauge the amount of blood that's here to be like a horrendous wound, or like someone was harmed and bled out over a course of a
There's
period of
not a
time?
lot of blood here.
Okay.
But it's just enough as if it dripped.
Oh,
I'm gonna look at the ceiling. Is it
Nothing is on the
dripping
ceiling.
through?
No.
I see.
People look up. Yes. Yeah, no, there's nothing on the
Eh,
ceiling.
What does the
Intriguing.
kitchen layout look like? Because this is before everyone had like automated refrigerators and
Oh yeah.
everything.
So there's a crisper
Good
and a
question.
cooler. And there's a sink, like a big metal sink, and there's more cupboards and dishes and stuff like that over.
Is
um,
under the cooler, is there a puddle of water?
No,
So it seems like if there was any ice in there, it hasn't melted.
correct.
right.
Okay. Is there anything in the sink?
I know there's not. Oh, actually, let me take that back. Some dirty dishes.
I think I'm noticing Matilda's keen eye. I'm gonna take a closer look at that icebox and just open it and see if there's anything inside.
No, there's not.
Is it completely dry? Is there any ice at all?
It is completely dry. Yes.
Interesting.
So we've
Well,
got an unused icebox, a puddle, some blood on the floor, and dirty dishes in the sink.
going back to the blood again, is this enough to be fatal to someone, or does it seem like they could have walked away from this?
It's hard to tell. It's possibly fatal, but based on the amount, they could have walked away from it.
Well, I mean, if we do find our good friend, they're probably seriously hurt. Perhaps we should hurry up the search a little, and then we can go into more close detail later.
How old do the dirty dishes look?
About a day or two.
So they look like they're actually fresh dirty dishes, even though there's no groceries.
I mean, it probably some dishes were probably 2 or 3 days old. Some are probably 1 or 2 days old.
Okay. My brain is going, wait a second, how are they eating if they don't have, this isn't takeout era. There's some takeout and delivery in that time, not much though. Well then.
They would have made their own food and then ate it, and then the dishes were sat.
Doctor, I think you might be onto a good point. If anyone's injured and in need of help, we might be here just in the essence, in the nick of time, as it were.
Yes.
How many, Doctor or Matilda, do you recall how many floors there are in this lighthouse?
The windows outside look like there should be 2.
It's a 2-story building, yeah. So there's some bedrooms upstairs.
It looks like there should be the floor we're on, and then perhaps a smaller sloped room upstairs. If we can find, I suspect it's going to be more like a ladder than a true staircase, or some very steep, winding one.
Huh. And I suppose the only entrance to the lighthouse would be through an outdoor entryway?
Generally,
It
there's
doesn't. I don't see an outdoor door.
there is an outside door.
Okay, and that's the way you would get into the lighthouse itself.
Actually, you know what?
Well, I mean, it's more practical just to have the door inside the building.
I was examining the pictures really closely because I didn't see an
there is
outside
no
door.
There is no outside door.
So the entry is from within the house.
Yes.
Good eyes on you, Matilda.
It is in from the inside. Yes.
Which is worse. Right. That means that the call's coming from inside the house.
It's always coming from inside the house.
Right then. I'm gonna walk into the living room and I'm gonna start if I don't automatically see, because I expect it's gonna be one of those staircases that's like a foot wide at most.
Oh yeah.
If I don't see an automatic staircase, I'm gonna look and see if there's like a pull down ladder type staircase.
There is a staircase. There was a staircase that was built here because due to the staircase that was built in the lighthouse, they also built one in this particular house. But as you are walking in through, you kind of kick a piece of paper, Matilda, that's lying on the floor, and it looks like it was ripped out of parchment. It's not a full piece of paper.
Doctor, can you shine your torch over here for a second?
Yeah, well, here we go.
What does the paper have and or say?
It says it's kind of typed out in an unusual, like from a typewriter.
Fancy.
And it says, from the date you shall begin walking 3 paces, turn right and walk another 50 paces, turn left and walk 5 paces, and there you are. From the cherry to the spot, start digging.
Interesting. At a wild guess, does it seem like those numbers correspond with the holes we've found outside?
It's hard to say. There's digging involved.
I would say no. And the reason I would say no is it seems less like it corresponds with the numbers and more like it corresponds with trying to find the destination. Like, based on the way it was described earlier, because it was one hole 3 feet away, another hole 15 feet away, a 4th hole that I apparently that was further off than that.
So
Mhm.
based off of you're into there's
This
a
is my
starting point
investigative.
somewhere. There's a starting
Mhm.
point somewhere that they may have been following directions and based off those directions digging. And clearly they didn't
Mm.
find it, so they changed and started doing different and
This is the investigator, the journalism side coming
Yeah.
in. The
Yeah,
investigative
yeah.
side coming
clearly
in.
that is correct. But trying to figure out where the starting point is, that's the key.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Does it have any? Actually, this is risky. I'm going to take out a piece of flash paper and I'm going to use the flash to ignite it because it takes a few seconds. It ignites for a few seconds, and I'm going to hold the parchment over the flash paper just to try and see if there's any hidden ink on the page.
Mm.
Oh, I know there isn't. As it flashes up, the light kind of goes
I like
in.
how you looked confused while I was doing this.
And it's a flash. Everyone's kind of blinded for a quick second.
Oh,
and as you
oh,
kind
watch
of
it
look,
with that.
and then
Sorry.
no, there's no invisible ink or anything else on that.
Well,
And it's
Matilda,
torn, though.
what's your hunch, Matilda? What are you following here?
Well, I think that's the problem, is that it's got directions, but it's got no starting point. It's like if I was to tell you how to get to the Eiffel Tower, but I wasn't to tell you which way to start from. If you start in New York, it's different directions than if you start in, I don't know, Berlin or one of those places.
Does it seem that the note was ripped off before it could give the starting point?
No, so it was the kind of the bottom of the paper. So I'm going to read it again. From the date you shall begin walking 3 paces. Turn right and walk another 50 paces. Turn left and walk 5 paces.
I will add, I put this in the Zoom chat because I typed it while you were saying it.
Thank you so much, Emily.
Because I
did
am
notice and
such
saw
a
that.
bad GM, I should have just copied and pasted myself.
Bad,
and there,
bad, bad.
No, this is on the players. The players are the ones supposed to be
That's right.
taking
Yeah,
these
that's
notes.
right.
and there you are.
Emily.
From the cherry to the spot, start digging.
Mm,
So from the date you shall begin walking paces.
I see.
Are there any, is it just formatted?
From the
How do I
date.
put this? Is it formatted where it's like a certain number of words on each line? Is it formatted in any sort of weird way? Any unusual capital letters?
Just it's like from the date of 3 paces, next line, turn right and walk another 50 paces, next line, turn left and walk 5 paces, next line, and you are there. And there you are. The next line from the cherry at the spot.
And this is all on nicely typed out typewriter paper. I think Hope is going to kind of take a look at this and well, having dealt with a number of folks who are on their deathbed or perhaps in the throes of fever, different ways of looking at things make sense. Perhaps a certain logic here. Perhaps what it's suggesting isn't so much a date that this was started, but perhaps on whatever date one chooses to do this, from that date forward. So, in your analogy, Matilda, if you said go to Paris, but you didn't tell me where to start from, where to start from would be on me. As in, maybe we take this paper and we just follow the directions, and today is the date. From the date you start, the day is the day we start.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where it gets us.
Do we know what date the red flares appearing in the lighthouse started?
Rumor has it was about 2 weeks ago.
Is there anything important about that date? I can't
Nope.
really remember.
Nope, not that you can recall.
Interesting. Well, in the chance that there is still someone alive and injured, I think I should at least go and hurry to these rooms and investigate.
Yeah.
But if you would like to stay here, I can be within yelling distance.
I think that's a good idea, Doctor. I'm gonna look around for a hurricane lamp or some sort of lamp in the room.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
go
there-
about
So there's candles and stuff like that. I would say so as you know where you kind of came into the front door, there is a back door. And
Hmm.
it's going to be so like the bedrooms are up top and there's some additional rooms, like another formal dining room, or just kind of another lounge area in the back of the house. And the back of the house has a larger door, and it's actually the one that's connected to the lighthouse. So literally the lighthouse has a large door, and literally the front door or a back door is like right there. So it's very easy to get in the back door. You literally would, if you're coming into the house from the back door, you literally took a right and you walk into a door where the lighthouse is, like within a few paces. And then like I said, that goes up. As you're checking the other rooms, there's no one else here and it's dark. But that hood is by the back entrance, back doors where that weather or the hurricane lantern you were talking about. It's towards the
Okay.
back, hanging up on there, as well as raincoats and things like that. And then you see the door to the lighthouse
Plural
right there.
raincoats?
What's that?
Plural raincoats?
Um, yeah, they're normal fisherman type raincoats.
But more than one is what I'm getting.
No, there's
Okay.
one. There's one.
That would make, I was going to say plural raincoats.
Sorry. There's
Raincoats,
one.
you say.
There is one raincoat, and it is there.
Okay.
Hmm.
And as you
So I'm
get
gonna
that,
go ahead and
you see where the entrance goes up to the lighthouse too.
so I'm gonna go ahead and light the hurricane lamp. First thing I'm gonna do with that is I'm gonna just look around this room, because if there's a letter, usually there's an envelope.
As she's doing that, what is Dr. Thaddeus and Hope doing?
I'll join Dr. Thaddeus and I guess going upstairs.
And I, finding no one, will look for whatever room looks the most used and ruffle around for some paperwork, maybe a journal or anything like that might be around.
And I think I'm also going to look around for any kind of medications to see if there's, a toxology. We could do a toxology report. Is that what it would be?
Yeah.
See what people are taking.
So basically, I'm not going to have you roll, but there is a journal. There is no one up here. And what you find is that there's only one bedroom. Now, normally,
I see.
sometimes, let me phrase that, there's several bedrooms, but there's only one bedroom being used. Sometimes a
Yeah.
family would live here. Sometimes it would be just an individual. So over the course of the years, a family would come in, live here. But right now, it's only been one individual. And from what you
Mhm.
pictures and stuff like that, this is a man in his 30s, is in this particular house, been here. He is a younger man in that to this particular vocation. He does have a journal. He spends his time reading. There's a lot of books. Like there's a lot of stacked books all around. He was a very introverted book reader, and that's probably one of the reasons why he took this job. You don't find any medications or anything else like that. He seemed to be in. You do see a self portrait somewhere, and it's he's a relatively healthy individual. Um, good looking, strapping 30-year-old gentleman. But he, like I said, he just was wanted a quiet life. As you kind of look around, you will see a picture of one of the original, and it says Captain Williams, and you see Captain Williams in front, and you're pretty sure that he was like helping get, like he took over, and he lived here for a long time during this process, up until this death, and which turns out he died here properly. And then
And the self-portrait that we find, is this what we assume is self-portrait of Josh Williams?
yeah, so Josh Williams, you see a picture of Josh Williams, and if somebody had given him a picture, had drawn a picture of him, but yeah, it's or a photograph from from town type situation. But like I said, he seemed like a healthy individual from the looks of it. And then, but yeah, no medications, no anything else out of the ordinary. But it was definitely a quiet book bag. Um, Matilda, you were looking down and give me another wits plus awareness.
Could I make the argument for wits plus investigation?
Yes, yes, you can.
Because I invested in that and I have more dice in wits
Yes.
plus
And
investigation.
you were looking specifically for something, so yes, I would say.
All right, give me something good. 1 success.
Yeah. So as you're kind of looking around, you're like, okay, and remind me again the specifics. So you're kind of just looking for the room or anything unusual. Oh, the envelopes.
Yeah, I was trying to find the envelope that the letter came in, but
Nope.
any sign of like communication or the other piece of the letter would also be a welcome.
I will give you that the door to the lighthouse is slightly ajar, but it's not shut. But yeah, no, there's no letter. And the thing is, as you're looking at the note that you have, you notice that it was ripped at the bottom, as if it was like, so it's only like 3/4 of the paper.
Interesting.
Got it.
Yeah. Well,
I might wander up those stairs into the lighthouse. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, I was before you do that, I was gonna say that we'll probably follow down there and get ready to go to the lighthouse.
You get down there like as the door closes behind me.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's gonna happen. So as you start walking up the stairs, you're gonna hear noises coming from behind you. But I need Dr. Thaddeus and Hope, please to give me a wits plus awareness or investigation roll, whichever you would like.
That would be 2 successes.
Okay.
That would be a critical success and a regular success.
Well, that's 3 successes.
It depends on how you want to run it.
Yeah, I would say if you rolled a 10, it's 2, and then so you rolled 1 critical, 1 10, so that's 2 successes, and then another success for a third.
Okay, great. So then
So it would be 5 successes because
No, that's if there were 2 crits.
If there were 2 crits.
So not.
Oh,
to
I
go
see what
into
you're
the-
saying. I see what you're saying.
Literally not being a rules lawyer here. Like the raw is that it only doubles if you have 2 of them, but there's a lot of storytellers who will just count it as 2 anyway because there should be a bonus for having rolled a crit.
Yeah. And like I said,
I love it.
we're kind of goosey woosey with the rules. We'll go with the rule
Right.
of cool in our game.
Fantastic.
So,
So 3 cool successes.
3 cool successes and 2.
That's the word for it now
Yeah.
on.
Hey,
we have. It's only critical if you have 2 crits. It's a cool if you have 1 crit.
Yeah, I just rolled cool.
You hear Hope and Nurse Hope and Dr. Thaddeus as you're running, as you're kind of moving in. You hear Matilda open and close the door, and you clearly see a light kind of going up to and you're like, she's going upstairs.
Well, if that's the source of the happenings, it might be good to follow.
Yes.
And as you make your way, you open the door and you make your way up, spiraling stairs, kind of go up.
And as we go, I'll keep my eye kind of tracing around to try and find any indicators as we travel up.
Matilda, you hear below you, the 2 of them are behind you.
Because we're hearing because we're hearing sounds of Matilda above us and us, and kind of getting reorientated. So we're walking up the stairs into the lighthouse.
Yep.
I'm gonna just say, just a moment there, Doctor, and I'm gonna just lean and try to sense again, just to see if anything's peaked.
Okay.
Because it just seems like I'm hearing just a few extra shuffles. It feels like.
Okay.
Yes. Well, your intuition is always useful.
As I look up to thank you, Doctor. I appreciate that. Let's focus back down. So that's my occult and my wits. All right. Okay. So we've got 2 regular successes and a very cool success.
Okay.
So that'll be 4.
So as you're sensing, you get overwhelmed slightly that there is a presence. Suddenly it's cold. You feel the coldness, and you feel that there is definitely a presence in the tower. that it's
Something the matter?
and it's coming
Yes.
in and out of the tower.
Doctor, get Matilda's attention. I think we need to be very, very careful right now.
Matilda,
Yes?
we believe there is a presence. Perhaps we regather for a moment.
Well, you could always meet me up here in the lighthouse. I was just going to look for any more signs of the pieces of this letter.
Yes, indeed. We'll be up there.
Matilda, as we move up, Matilda, are you sensing any changes in temperature?
Storyteller, am I sensing any changes in temperature?
No, not yet. As you get up to the hatch that opens up until the to the lighthouse area, to the light.
Nothing more than the changes that come with the sun setting.
No, there is something else.
Yes. And to note, I did take the journal and I kept track of the names of some of those books.
Yep.
It'll be useful later.
Yep. But Hope, you're realizing too that with those 4 successes, the presence is here, but it's not active right now. It's as if in your past, you've sensed that this is a guardian spirit and that it is consistently going in and out throughout this entire tower, on and off at different times. And you are feeling the remnants of its most recent activity. And then it hasn't been active for a little bit, but you're feeling that remnants of activity.
So with that descriptor, I assume Hope is transcribing this as best as possible.
And if you want, I think Hope would share it as a team. I believe there is something here that is keeping watch over this place. It would be, I guess, me being a bit hopeful to say that anything malicious that may have or may have not transpired within this building was not necessarily the doing of this presence. Whatever this presence is, it seems to be protective. I don't know its intent. It just feels it is keeping this place safe.
Are they still on the stairs, or would I be able to hear this by now?
You can hear this, yeah. They're on the stairs, but you can still hear it.
We're a few steps behind you, kind of thing. Yeah.
So, like in what's that word? Animus loci, the one that all the Romans were so fond of.
Well, I was just about to ask about that. GM, I have one of my perks is the library perk, and the specialization is who they are. I would like to, through what Hope has explained in feelings and that sort of thing, try and figure out what kind of spirit this is.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, give me a roll.
Give me 1 second to look at what that pool is. Pulled it up, but I can't find it.
Emily, does animus loci literally just mean living location?
No, it means spirit of place. So it's the spirit. A spirit of place. So it's the spirit of an area or a region.
Oh, cool.
I'm also pronouncing it wrong, but I'm intentionally doing it. It's Animus Loci, but
Animus Loci. Oh, okay.
But like English speakers don't care.
All right, and that is resolve and academic, which is quite a good pool for me. And let me get that a roll. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, unfortunately, that is only 3 successes.
That's fine. That's still fairly decent. So you were looking. You're clearly what information you recall is that if it's a protective ghost, the ghost it is protecting something here. Someone died here. Has a they would have had a connection here, something that's personal, or they're protecting either a person or an item.
I wonder if this message is some cruel plot to dig up our dear protector spirit.
Huh.
Hmm.
Well, that's a
Well.
curious theory.
Well, anyways, we should probably get up top and see if we can have a look around.
Pop the hatch if you want, as you kind of come up. And the lighthouse is starting to go. The lighthouse is strangely, it's, you don't think it would be automatic, but it is on. And it's kind of doing its normal, motions since it's starting to get a little dark. It's going through its motions.
Does it
And
seem like
there's-
it's a mundane candle, or is it like a special light?
It's a
inside even?
large special candle with large mirrors and things of that nature that is reflecting off of several different, and it's like the large centerpiece. So it's
pre-electric lighthouse.
pre-electrical.
Yeah.
So,
well, I was wondering if it was a candle or if there was a spirit manifesting in.
No,
the
there's
light
no
itself.
spirit, but there's also oil in the lit as well. So it's kind of a combination of a candle and the oil lit that's reflecting off of the reflectors, and then it's kind of being
Focused
out. Thank you, focused out. And then then there's something that's basically spinning that basically shines the light and then shields the light as it's kind of going.
And there's no one up here.
No one is up here. No.
Is there anything up here other than the light?
No.
Like, are there any like windows or anything that?
Well,
have
yeah,
a
you
broken
see
panel?
windows out. Yeah, you can see windows out. And you can look down and look out. Oh yeah, definitely.
Are any of the windows open?
No, they are not.
Interesting.
And no broken panes or anything?
No broken panes.
And is this one of the ones that has like the railing on the outside where you can walk around the outside too, or no?
Yes, it is.
All right. Is it light enough to still, if we were to look down, see the?
There are
digging
some
spots?
lights kind of around. Strangely enough, there is some outside lights that are on as well. There seems to be gas, but there seems to be an automatic gas. Like it's a little bit upper on the technology, but it's like instead of hand turning on, there's a timer switch somewhere that automatically switched it on, that goes through that. The outside, there's a few outside lights as well as the up top light, not in the house, but on the outside, the lighthouse itself.
Also, I'm noticing this now. There are windows on the lighthouse tower, presumably mapping to the stairs.
Yes.
As I was going up the stairs, if I looked out those windows, could I see anyone or anything?
You just saw the properties, and then depending on which direction, you would have seen the cherry trees, you would have seen the holes, you would have seen the water, you would have seen, but no person.
Jay,
So
that
I
really.
would've been. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Emily.
So I would have been able to see the cherry trees and the holes from one of the windows?
Yeah.
Does it look like there's a pattern to the holes, or does it look like
You don't see enough of the holes to kind of figure that out at this
Okay.
at this angle.
Okay.
How about from the top now?
We'll get you in a second. Hope,
Okay.
you had a question.
Yes, my question is, based on that description of a timer mechanic or device, and that is, so we're talking about that this isn't, there isn't electricity that's running to this place, but there is someone who has to manually turn on some kind of machination to get the lighthouse turning, or?
So strangely enough, there's no necessarily electricity at this time is potential. Like I said, there is electricity. It's 1939, but it's not a lot of electricity. So there is a little bit of electricity, like through the lighthouse in one form, but at this particular time, the electricity isn't significant. It's more like it's been adapted so that there is actually those your Christmas timers. So it's an old-fashioned Christmas timer that hits an electrical light that ignites certain oils throughout certain candles and spots on the outside and the
Yeah, it
lighthouse.
connects like a single circuit.
Yeah,
So-
And that circuit lights a fire because electricity is good at that.
So my question then, so that thank you, that I think is kind of in line with what I was imagining. Does that to me suggest that someone has to routinely come out here to reset this timer, as it were,
Or
to
someone
get
that's
it
living
going
there.
again. Or somebody who's living there, and you could let me know if this is something to roll, because I think this could fit under like an academics research role. But would we have a sense of how frequently this whole sequence of things has to be maintained? How often someone needs to reset that?
Probably once a month.
Once a month. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so like it's one of those
It's
things
pretty
where-
self-sufficient.
Yeah,
huh?
it's self-sufficient, and the reason is you realize that, well, even though they have someone here, they have someone living here that will be able to turn them on automatically, but for whatever reason, if someone wasn't able to live here, or if they went on vacation or something along those lines, there's an automated system that would turn on the light only, so that if no one was here, the lighthouse would still be on in function.
Hmm.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And then the doctor is going around and looking at the walkway, right?
And as you're outside looking, and you kind of look down, and looking at the thing, you realize that some of one of the holes, or one of the holes is, if you backtrack the note from one of the holes, you're like, okay, that gives you a starting point way off by the house. If you look at one of the other holes, it kind of gives you a starting point closer to the tower, but the lighthouse. But then what you notice is that two of the holes are more closer together, as if that was like the first, like they may have missed a step. And you realize that it's on the outside of the tower, like the lighthouse tower was the starting point. Literally, like you're looking down, potentially could have been the starting point down there.
Interesting, and I'll relay that and suggest we check that out.
So it doesn't look like they started by the cherry trees at all.
Curious. Huh? Interesting.
Perhaps ending by the cherry trees?
And does it seem like they've accomplished enough, that they followed enough of the steps to actually walk another 50 paces? I think Hope is just going to measure it out just to sort of see how far 50 paces would be, just to see if any of the holes
So you're still upstairs, so you would have to
Oh,
go. Yeah, so you would have to go all the way downstairs, go out the front door, and kind of look around if you wanted to. Which you could.
Yeah. Okay.
And you didn't find anyone here, or else you wouldn't be up
No,
here. You would have
no,
been
I've-
helping someone.
I found a journal that I have yet to parse through, but
Oh, perhaps that could help us. This is torn at the bottom. Maybe there's another piece of it in the journal.
perhaps. I guess, can we check the
Let's sit
journal
by
as we
this
go down?
lighthouse and
You
check
can-
out the journal.
and as you check
read someone's diary.
The paper is completely different from the journal.
Yeah.
It's very different types of paper. And it almost, oddly, the paper is more bureaucratic, government issue. Like taken from an older typewriter type situation.
Thaddeus, Hope, you want to know what the most fun part of the book is? It's the end. I'm gonna flip to like the
gonna say
last
the
few
smell.
pages of the journal.
It's
Just see.
within the last week, he had written some stuff about,
Is there-
he read a book.
Is there anything talking about like digging? Anything talking about just the read
Yes.
an interesting book?
Yep, just read an interesting book, and that's pretty much what the journal is about. Except that he had cake at the deli in town and enjoyed it.
We
Well,
stand
now-
a simple. We stand
So,
amidst
yeah.
loves of simple pleasures.
On the
Let's
way
make
out, we
note
can
of
try
that.
that cake,
Perhaps on the way out, we should see about some cake, if we feel we've earned it.
Oh, as you make your way down at the bottom of the stairs of the lighthouse,
Yes.
and you kind of your flashlight just as you're about to walk over, You look, and at the bottom of the staircase, you see a crest like, into the concrete that has the date 1872 established. And there's a little cherry design underneath it.
Huh.
Now, I don't know a lot about plants, but does it seem like those trees could have been planted on that date?
From the cherry to the spot, start digging.
Hmm. Well, we might. Someone else has already given it a shot. I don't see anything particularly bad if we don't give it our own college try, as it were. Is there a shovel or a spade near the entryway? Any tools?
No, there's not by the entryway that you can tell.
And this is
There may have been one
concrete of
outside.
some sort, right?
What's that?
This plaque is in rock of some sort.
Yeah, it's
some
like
sort?
in this. It's in the. You know how when they.
It's like the little thing between the lighthouse and the house.
No, it's on the lighthouse.
Yeah,
it
seems
it's
like
directly. So it's directly in front. So if you open the door to the lighthouse, to the right would be the stairs. You go straight ahead. It's against that wall. Is where it says established, 1876. That
I
plaque
see.
Gotcha.
into the.
Interesting.
You know how older buildings when they have it's kind of grounded into
Yeah, the cornerstone.
cornerstone.
usually.
Yeah,
that's
it's almost
pretty much
like-
what it is.
It's kind of like almost.
Well-
It's not on a threshold, but it's like
Yeah.
sort of just right there, very, very visible.
Okay. Thaddeus is going to start taking very measured paces and follow out the coordinates on that, starting with his back up against that
From the
sign.
inside of the from the inside the tower or from the lighthouse.
From the plaque itself.
Okay, from the
From the
plaque.
plaque.
I will
Yes.
tell you this: all the holes outside, you can tell, are not. You can, based off the directions that you have, you will never get to those holes.
Mm.
That's okay.
So
Yeah.
perhaps
Never-
they
It
are.
doesn't seem like he got to whatever he was looking for
Yeah.
either.
And after all, the note instructs us from the date you shall begin.
Mhm.
This is the date, 1872, and we shall begin from the date. Literal.
As you take your
date.
first 3 paces, you are exactly where the back door is.
Uh-huh.
And when you turn, you turn right.
Right.
Actually, let me take that back. Should have
Turn
been
right
turn
and walk
left.
another 50 paces.
Oh yeah, and walk another 50 paces. You literally walk out the door.
The letter was wrong.
No, the GM was
Turn
wrong
port
because
side.
the GM
is-
had it backwards, thinking it was
This is why.
different.
This is why you don't do map quests anymore.
Oh,
So yeah,
Yeah.
you walk that. You take that turn, and you walk
You
that
meant
50 paces.
you meant stage right.
Yeah, stage right. So you walk out that you literally are walking out the door, and you are like 50 paces getting, and you stand. Now, because some of
So-
you already met,
For clarification, so it was turn left and walk another 50 paces and then turn right and walk 5 paces, or is it turn left again? Because it was originally turn right and then turn left.
okay, you walk 3 paces, turn left, walk
Yep.
50 paces, turn right, walk
Turn right,
5
okay.
paces,
Just wanted to confirm.
walk
Thank you.
5
Just reverse
paces.
that. Okay.
And so as you're doing that, you are like, if you look over,
Mhm.
you can see where some of the holes are, around the corner a little. Like I said, they're in a different location.
Huh.
I will give you this too, because you did say some of you were gonna. There is a plaque outside where, like, you were looking down,
Mhm.
kind of look over. There is a plaque that says 1870s established.
Interesting.
1876 on the outside.
There's 2
But-
different plaques, but we can try both.
Yeah.
But as you're walking, you get there, you
Like
come
an escape
up
room.
to there's just a
Those
small
first 3
stone.
steps got me intrigued.
Mm.
Small stone where I am.
So you took the 50 paces,
Yeah.
you turned, you went the 5 other paces, and right at just about where that 5 paces is, there is a stone that has a unusual symbol on it.
And here we see the benefit of critical reading.
Can I try to see if I can discern?
Right, you are, Doctor.
Like, does it look like an occult symbol? And by that measure, could I try to see if I can discern what it is?
I will let you discern. It is not a cult symbol.
Okay.
But if you have academic intelligence, academia or
I do.
and intelligence, you can roll. Anyone can roll. By the way, if anyone was going for a shovel because you saw a shovel over by the
Yes.
Yeah, Thaddeus asked about a shovel.
Yeah, so there's a shovel over on the outside. That's when you notice the other established, because it was laying up against towards that and would have been directly below you. And then you would have figured out that whoever started, that was one of the starting points based off of that.
I see.
Okay.
And there is a mechanic for assisting that I believe you give one die to someone as long as you have a similar pool. Is that something that anyone is willing to do?
I don't have academics.
Oh yeah, I've got tons of academics. I can definitely do that.
Okay.
So would I be contributing just to one die?
Yeah.
It's whatever the bigger pool is plus one die.
Yeah, it would bring me up to 6 dice.
Great,
And as
perfect.
Matilda, as you're kind of looking at and you're realizing it's not our occult, and you share that information, Dr. Thaddeus kind of looks at you and Hope you all are looking at it.
And that is an extremely cool 4.
Oh yes.
You realize that it is a World War I special operations
Interesting.
investigation squad.
I believe my
company.
father was almost recruited for this.
Yeah, he was recruited for it, but turned it down because, and you realize that Captain Williams may have been a part of a secret organization.
Oh, now this is most intriguing.
Does it look like a gravestone or like what?
Just a small stone, like just a round half stone with that symbol on it.
Well, this can't be all it is.
Now, with my knowledge of the occult and that sort of thing, from a very library standpoint, do I know whether or not it is very bad idea to start digging up graves?
No,
if there's a
they
ghost
were
involved?
treasure hunters. They took artifacts and they were supernatural and occult treasure hunters, as well as they got into
So it seems less like a grave marker and more like just a something might be buried here marker.
Yes, it seems likely this was buried for someone
Treasure.
of more special knowledge. That shovel.
Oh
Grab the
yes,
shovel?
of course.
Yeah, you grab the
And grab the shovel. Yeah. So well, let's give it a heave.
We stand
Start.
a strong lady.
I'll very
Right.
I'll very generously leave that to you.
Who's
I have
digging?
no physical
I'll
strength.
I'll dig.
Hope. There's
Yeah.
hope.
No,
Everyone,
No.
after you hit that second shovel off, the temperature gets cold.
Oh,
Does anyone else feel that breeze?
yes.
I have something for this. I'll start like pouring some salt out in a circle around us and the site that we're digging at.
I'm going to be just sort of messing with the locket that I'm wearing.
Interesting.
And I am using repel the unnatural, by the way.
So you're putting up a barrier.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not
So-
quite a ward, so it's not quite as good as that, but it's more of a one-shot deal.
Suddenly, that ward starts. It as if something's trying to get that is pressing up against the ward. And as it's doing, suddenly this manifestation of a captain in military uniform, ghostly appearance, is looking and and just has kind of angerish in his eyes a little bit as he's trying to kind of press up against this the barrier unsuccessfully.
Doctor, I think we may have found at least some of what's here. Hope, Hope, if you're still digging, maybe look up a little bit.
Yes.
Captain
all right.
Williams, can you hear me?
And suddenly, kind of,
Oh, an intelligent spirit.
I seek to entreaty for your grace in allowing us to investigate this artifact. We believe someone else was hunting for it. Someone much more malevolent.
what's your
Given your position in the military, you might appreciate that we too are working with an organization of the government to try to control and minimize the impacts of more supernatural individuals on our society.
Quite right. We are hoping to balance out and aid. We're not here to invade, as it were, Captain. How may we be able to help?
Who would like to roll me a charisma persuasion roll?
Oh, me. I
Good.
would.
Yes.
Good. Yes, please do.
That's where I
Add
invest.
another
That's a
dice for the
solid
assist.
2 for me.
Add an
That's
assist
it.
for the
Am I getting an assist from both?
Oh yeah, because that was good. That was good RP on that.
Okay. All right. I'm getting a die from both, or just the one die?
Just the one. Just the one.
Okay. Cool. All right. 7 dice. Let's do this.
Oh yeah. Let's go, Matilda.
Okay. We've got one. Oh, we've got a cool. And I lost a die in the process.
No.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so we've
These
got
dice are quite nice.
I love these guys. They're so cool.
we've got a cool 3.
Cool 3. Okay. Would you like to push, or what's the word
Ooh.
I'm looking for?
Ooh,
Push
pushing
or-
rolls. That's always fun.
For consequence.
Are we talking about getting
Yeah,
into our
like
desperation dice?
Not desperation dice. This is a roll where you push to succeed at a cost. That's the word I'm looking. The phrase.
I'll
I'm looking
succeed at a cost.
for. You're
I'll take
succeed at a cost.
Love a cost.
Okay. So suddenly he's like, he stopped. He's like,
You haven't played with me playing one of these types of characters before. You haven't gotten me in a horror game before.
Yeah.
Let's go.
it was.
I feel like
Ooh.
it must be getting like exponentially colder and colder as
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the Hope is just standing there kind of gripping the shovel and trying to make as few movements as possible, instinctually wanting to kind of shift her body weight in a way to be able to pull out the shotgun, but also knowing that it might be completely useless in this scenario. But it's just shivering as she stands there.
I will also add, if there is an ability that Thwart the Unnatural could contest, I would like to spend a willpower to try Thwart the Unnatural roll.
So what does that?
So Thwart the Unnatural, the hunter is able to resist all manner of supernatural abilities, leaving them immune to a wide variety of harmful mental effects, so long as they
Okay.
shield themselves with their object of focus. They're highly resistant, if not outright immune to unnatural influence.
It looks like
okay.
composure and occult.
And my
with
focus
science.
is my locket.
Does that
Ooh.
also? This is a player. This is a GM to player question.
Yeah.
Does that also apply to possession?
I would assume that
it-
it applies
it-
specifically to a possession.
It doesn't say. It would protect from vampiric mind control. So
Yes.
I would say possession is similar enough,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it doesn't say explicitly about
Okay.
possession.
Yes, and also
It is up to you as the storyteller.
Yep.
And it is a composure and occult roll for me.
yeah, to me it seemed like mine is more physically keeping the creature back.
Yes.
The
Mhm.
thwart seems more like mentally keeping them
Keep
back.
it so that you're not influenced mentally from
Yeah.
from like a vampire.
So it only applies to me
Yes.
specifically. It doesn't
Like I
apply
could be
to anyone else.
persuaded to walk out of my protection.
Exactly. But currently, because you're behind a barrier, they can't possess you.
Mhm.
But I'm just curious if you're a
Yeah.
GM to player, that ability of mental. We're gonna.
That's what I'm
we're-
saying. I'm willing to take a succeed at a cost. I just
Yeah,
wanted to
that's
bring
a
that up.
succeed at a
that
cost.
edge test is.
Yep. Yep.
A
Very good.
potential.
So,
And for the GM fun bits,
Yep.
I don't have ward, so mine's only a one-time use thing. So I've already used it. The ghost could come through if it wanted to.
oh, but you have the salt.
Well, yeah, but it's just I don't have the ward ability, so mine's just a temporary stop.
So as this military goes, and you do see Williams on his uniform, and it's like breast military, some insignias. Kind of as he's kind of stops for a second. He kind of is looking all over at you, kind of surveying you a little bit.
And I do have the pin for the sigil in my lapel, if that helps.
And he focuses on and he points at the shovel.
Mm.
Do you want us to dig it up for you, or you want us to give you the shovel?
And suddenly he stops.
He stops and he looks at something.
Yes, he kind of turns halfway. He
Mhm.
turns.
I'm gonna follow his gaze.
Yes.
The lighthouse suddenly turns yellow, or excuse me, not yellow. It's white, and then it's red. It like 10 seconds of white, 10 seconds of red, and
Hope, if you can do your sensing thing, now might be a good time.
Perfect.
strange. Your sense. Go ahead, and you want your sensing.
Yeah, and this time I'm gonna focus on sensing. Yeah, I guess I'm trying to sense a ghostly presence and
Okay.
try to understand that presence. Oh, fantastic! So I've got that would be 6.
You do not. The
Very
only
good
ghostly
roll.
presence that you have is Captain. No
Captain,
other
okay.
ghostly presence is in
Hmm.
the immediate area. But with those successes, something you do notice as it goes 10 seconds of white, 10 seconds of red, as this, like, I mean, there's a little bit when the red comes, there's a little bit of red that actually spotlights down as well. Strangely enough, as things turn, it's normally, some of the light would just, can be seen outside, but because of the red light, it actually looks like a fog light, or not a fog light, but like a beam of light, a red light going to the ground.
Is it going to the ground we're standing on, or is it going to a different spot?
It's further down against like where the lighthouse is, so it's almost reflecting off of like the rail, and then going shooting down the on the opposite side of the lighthouse, kind of where the entrance is, or excuse me, because you're over there on the opposite side of where the plate was, so kind of just a little bit further over. And what you see is a man, or something like that. You see a figure standing there in a fisherman's coat with a hat, writing
I
something.
know what you did last summer.
Yeah.
Seems to be writing something on the wall of the house.
Can we see what he's writing, or do I have to get closer?
You would have to get very up close.
Captain, can you promise us safe passage, or at least promise that you won't harm us if we walk up to the writing on the wall?
He doesn't say anything. He's just.
I'm just gonna start going for
He's
it.
not focusing on that guy. He's looking in a different direction.
Oh.
Oh, I thought we were following his gaze.
You were following his gaze, so let me phrase that. He looked at that guy and then changed his gaze to something else in the dark.
Interesting. Well,
Alright,
with
split
my
up
drive
party.
being curiosity, I am gonna go to the guy writing on the wall. But if
Hmm.
they feel the need to split off, that is their prerogative.
I think I feel like I think Hope is seeing that this captain is perhaps more disturbed by us digging the ground and doing something to like despoil the area. That I think I'm less feeling that he is a evil presence of some sort, and I am gonna say, Matilda, I have a good feeling about the captain, but something is making the captain rather uncomfortable. Do you wish to follow his direction?
I'll be fine over here.
I
You
thi-
should go follow that.
I think that
All right.
it's worth trying. He doesn't seem to be trying to harm us at the moment.
Yes, but something is concerning him.
Well,
Right.
we've already started digging here, so we can find it again later if we need to.
Yeah.
Freshly turned soil and all that.
I'll gently place the shovel down on the ground, check to
Well,
see if
thank
Captain
you
has
for
any.
the digging. As you hear coming from the darkness, as you heard clapping, and you hear a voice. As Thaddeus, you're getting about halfway to where that stranger is, that in that fisherman's coat, and just seems to be writing some ink or something on, and all you hear is, "Well, thank you for finding it. It was troublesome. Aye, and out of the darkness, see this."
I like how we're
nicely-
all secretly armed. We're all like, anyway, what if we all reach for our guns at the same time?
As quietly as possible, just talking.
Oh.
As the
22
captain is
revolvers are
looking
much easier
at
to...
this nicely dressed suit in a 1930s dress
Interesting.
with a nice, mustache here, short hair, long fingernails, and big rings. Thank you for digging. Where are my manners? Samuel H.
Samuel H. what?
Samuel H. Oddright.
Cod, right?
Right?
Here, I've got it.
Like the
this time.
fish? Like a fish? All right. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Called right. All right.
Do I have any knowledge of this person?
I don't know.
I have knowledge of higher society people.
But you know what's going to happen is he kind of steps and goes, and that is you stop and kind of turn and where this voice is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more important than looking
And
at
he's like-
ghostwriting.
Again. And as he comes on, says, "Thank you for your endeavors. I look forward to. Thank you for finding the artifact.
Oh, we didn't find it for you, darling. We found it for our own employers. But tell me, what brings you out here this late at night?
Tonight. This particular.
It's important to have the audacity.
Well, I believe that clearly this.
Have you been following us this whole entire evening?
No.
Does he look unnaturally pale?
Yes, he looks unnaturally pale.
Cool. Just
There is
from here,
perhaps
I
some
happen to spot fangs in his mouth.
Yes, he is. He's
Um,
brandishing fangs because he is a cocky son of a bitch.
Now there's even more reason to see if I can recognize.
This is a question because of knowing other World of Darkness splats. Does he look like he doesn't look like he's decayed at all? So he doesn't look like an Nosferatu. So he
No.
looks like decent.
Yeah.
Does he look like extremely pretty or just like normal vampire?
Normal, pretty.
Okay.
No, pretty okay. Can I do? Well, I guess I'm probably clocking all of this. And am I clocking this unnaturalness about this person's appearance? Is it very obvious now? Yeah.
He's making it very obvious.
He's giving strong Sabat vibes.
Pretty much.
Okay. I was just
Oh,
throwing
no.
that out.
I would
Oh,
go for
he's
tower.
being cocky. And the
No,
ghost right
it's-
there. And the ghost
Tower tries to hide it.
and yeah, and he's just like, "Yeah, you may depart now. I'll take care of the rest of it. Thank you so much."
Now, Mr. Caldright, what is it that you plan to be taking care of?
Oh, none of your business. It's none of your concern. It's just a small artifact that I've been searching for a long time that the captain took from us.
I'm gonna crouch down, and the stone with the World War I imagery on it is loose, right?
No, it's in the wall. It's not too loose. No, it's pretty solid in the ground.
Okay, so it's not like the size of a softball. It's like
No,
an
no, no.
actual.
So I would say it's about the size of a small boulder, like probably like a wastebasket, size, and it's got the softball
Like an
size.
urn or something?
Yeah. Well, I would say like a small table, like a small the width of a desk garbage can, like a small little table garbage can, but
Yeah, like
the
a
width.
leech jar, like one of those larger urns.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's more of an oval rock, and it's in the ground. So it's like it's probably half of it is in the ground, buried, so it won't move.
Given that I still have the hurricane lamp with me,
Mhm.
which is fire,
Ooh, I think I see where this is going.
and that's full of oil. I just lean over to Hope and I say quietly, "All right, on the count of 3, I'm going to
Initiative.
throw."
Now. Alrighty.
So let's do some initiative stuff.
Hey, why not?
Why not?
Interesting. I have no idea.
And based off of this situation, no one died.
Not yet.
No one's gotten harmed. The desperation dice hasn't set in just yet, but there's definitely a pucker factor that's about to happen.
Yes. You must never forget the
That's
pucker
a lot
factor.
of dice I just heard.
Yep.
Yep.
So
An
yeah,
old
initiatives.
vampire. Great.
Okay.
So let's roll initiative, but then Matilda, what are you saying?
All right. I don't own this hurricane lamp, so I'm not attached to it. We've essentially got a very small Molotov cocktail in my hand.
Oh,
I
interesting.
can just throw at his feet.
Now,
Once I do that, though, we're going to have a very limited time to do a few things very quickly.
I'm keen to this plan. What should we do once you throw the cocktail?
Are you a believer?
I have a few faith-bound proclivities, I suppose.
No, are you a true believer?
Matilda, if you're asking me if I believe that the paranormal and the supernatural exists, I do very much. As to the presence of a god or a deity above us all, I have certain doubts. Now, which do you
That doesn't
mean?
help us then.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
GM.
Yes.
Question: How do we calculate initiative?
Excellent question.
Yeah,
Emily?
there's not like a traditional initiative system
Yeah.
in World of Darkness, so it's more
Because I would like to be
negotiated-
doing something during this, and I
It's
don't
more
know if that's
negotiated
possible.
between the players and the storyteller.
It's generally
And
range.
everyone gets an action, yeah.
Yeah, so it's range kind of goes first, then it's melee, and then it's, but based off of it's kind of all happening at the same time.
Yes.
But there is. I
am
thought there
quite
was
far.
actually a melee roll to see who actually.
Not that I remember.
No, okay. Then
though
I'm remembering something different. Okay.
I know
it could be that I'm
with
not
the
remembering.
quickness of action, so that could potentially be it. But
Uh-huh.
but basically, I was going to interject while they were having their small discussion.
Okay. Yes.
Toward Caldwin specifically. My good sir, I see that you're looking for this artifact. Was it you that was here digging before?
Huh. Admit, information comes at a price. Are you looking for my exploits?
Well, I was just going to comment on your critical reading skills.
God
Oh,
bless.
that
We're
is
all just antagonizing this
that is
vampire.
hilarious. And who am I speaking with that I might have a better understanding?
Dr. Thaddeus Marigold. I believe it's possible you know my
Doctor.
wife.
Familiar with the wife. Did I train her one day? Oh, but
Well, for both of our sakes, I hope you didn't.
Doctor. Doctor. That is a name I shall enjoy. Oh,
Well, if you have time to.
to this day. And at this time, what is everyone doing?
I'm preparing to throw that hurricane.
You're going to
lamp
throw
at
the
Speed.
hurricane. Hope. What are
Mhm.
you going to do?
Well, I am very skeptical as to what a shotgun will do in this situation. But I do have a nifty exorcism kit that does have some vials of holy water in it. And a Bible. So I think at Matilda's behest, am I a believer? I think it gives me an idea to perhaps fish for something out of that kit. So I think I'm gonna be preparing to grab a couple of vials of holy water to toss.
Okay.
And
As probably a distraction. Yeah.
and Thaddeus isn't actually pulling a gun out of the holster on his arm, but in fact a crucifix.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So that is give you an idea. You're walking kind of halfway.
Yeah, it depends on where he is, but
You're
I'm
probably a
away
good-
from them.
There's a little bit of distance from where they are.
Yeah, I'd
being
say it's
around
likely
the-
I'm 30 paces
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I was
Matilda
probably
and
halfway
Hope,
back.
you kind of move toward. Did you move out of the circle or more towards the darkness of where he was standing, or are you kind of moving back from where? Or
I don't think we had an opportunity to move before he popped out of the darkness.
No, I think
we
we're
were
still
standing.
in the salt circle. Yeah.
Okay. So Matilda's gonna throw Hope potential shotgun, but you're not sure. Oh, no, you're doing holy
Yeah.
water. That's right. You're going holy water.
Holy water.
So it's going to take you a little bit of time to kind of get that
And I'm
out,
trying to antagonize.
and you're antagonizing him.
Could I? This is a bit of a stretch.
Mhm.
Could I use intimidation manipulation insight to try and antagonize him?
Oh yeah, sure. Why not?
I like that skill pool.
You
It's not
actually
my
found out
best,
that he's
but I like it.
insecure about his love handles.
Right?
You gotta bully him where it really hurts.
That's
That
right.
is a spicy 3.
Not enough to
Ooh.
get him going, but he's entertained by what you were antagonizing him with. You report. Intelligence is this. We're gonna go with. So based off of this, it goes close combat range and then then physical. So no one's in physical combat right now. So it'd be more range.
Yeah.
So Matilda, you get to go what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I'm literally just hurling the hurricane lamp as close to his feet as possible from
Okay.
here.
Uh
The intent being that all that really delicate glass will just shatter and it'll become a pool of flaming oil.
yeah, with enough successes, that definitely. Give me a dexterity plus. Hey, it's not firearms, it's not athletics, maybe? Or do you have something else that.
I mean, I didn't go for maybe. Can I make an argument for larceny? Because it's arson.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
We're
Pretty
the
good.
rule of cool.
Pretty good.
I do like that. Where can I throw this to cause the maximum amount of damage?
I mean, yeah.
One success.
One second.
Yeah.
So as it flies, it hits the ground, and you suddenly, as you realize it was going to hit his feet, he wasn't there. He's not there anymore. Is it?
Oh boy.
Ugh, hilarity.
Hope,
That's
as you're
my
digging
line.
stuff up, and you're getting,
Going through my kit.
Yep. And you
Like-
get out these bottles. What do you plan? What's your plan with them?
Well, as soon as I come up with them, I mean, they're like big flasks. I think they're meant to be sort of like when you do an exorcism, you splash with it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna just hurl them like a grenade. So I come up with the two of them, and where'd he go, Matilda?
I don't know. He was right there, and then I threw the hurricane lantern.
Stay
and
on your
he was
guard.
gone.
Thaddeus, Dr. Thaddeus, you
spin
hear
around.
next to your ear. Whippy retard. Go back to the forest.
I'm gonna put the crucifix right in his face and try and use repel the unnatural.
Okay.
And that is either it's resolve and occult, which is quite good for me. Come on, we're going for a crit.
I believe in you.
Oh no, I dropped a die.
Crit.
I'm gonna grab a new one. We'll find that later. Oh man, that is atrocious. That's 2 successes.
As you kind of put it up, he kind of like, no, not the cross. Oh, is that supposed to work?
You vile creature! Begone!
Oh, that seems a little bit. Oh.
So while Thaddeus has got his attention, I'm going to just try to beam him in the head with a flask.
Make sure to
hey.
open the lid first.
Add a dice. Add an extra
Nice.
dice for this because he is the distraction.
Nice, great. So what do we say? Dexterity plus property damage. JK. So
I would
anything
say
else I could add?
Athletics, survival,
Streetwise.
No, I don't have survival. Stealth isn't right. Insight,
I mean,
no.
almost firearms, but it's
Do we
not.
have brawl? Do we have brawl in this
There is
one?
brawl,
Brawl's
yeah.
more of them. Yeah.
More,
Yeah.
it's more melee, but there is a melee.
It is more melee, yeah.
I'm
Melee,
bit-
well, so brawl is unarmed combat and melee,
Melee is a weapon,
weapons
but there's only
combat.
one firearm. There is no throw.
yeah. I'm very
Probably
firearm
athletic.
focused.
I've seen athletics, and I mean, could use brawl, but yeah, I don't have
I mean,
either of them. So it's
I
not
would
mine.
I would go with either athletics or brawl. I'd be okay with that.
Gotcha. All right. Well then, I actually don't have either, so I'll do dexterity plus that
Okay.
additional die for being distracted.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is still 5 dice. So my dexterity is pretty up there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's not bad. So, that's gonna put us at 6.
Wow. You beam
Mhm.
him in the head, and it just starts. It just starts burning him, and he actually yells out, "Ah!" and just how much damage? So that was 6 points of damage.
Well,
Oh,
6
wow.
dice.
6 dice.
Well, how many successes? I'm sorry.
6 successes.
6 successes. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
That's
You.
usually like whatever the margin of the hit to.
Yep. Oh, you burned him. Ow.
Thaddeus, doctor, please get in the ward.
I'm gonna pull out of my cane sword.
Yeah.
So you pull out the cane sword. What you gonna do with the cane sword?
Well, in all honesty, I'm gonna use it to keep it between me and him as I back up toward the ward, which isn't really a ward, but you know.
He's actually gonna grab you before, as you're
Oh, no.
pulling out your sword. He's gonna grab you by your neck. Yeah.
And I just spam the same ability.
Uh,
Stay away from me, monster!
That's 4 successes as he just grabs you by the neck and kind of lifts you off the ground and is sinking. You take a point of aggravation damage
Ooh.
as he's kind of choking you at the neck.
Yeah, I'm not doing well. Thaddeus
Uh-oh.
is not a strong person.
Attack damage is hard. What broke?
He's already choking.
He's just kind of up there lifting you up and kind of looks at the rest of you as his half of his face is kind of melting.
I'll hold up the second flask, and I say, "Mr. Carlwright, perhaps we ought to talk. I don't think you're gonna want the second half of your face to look like the mess that I made of the first half."
While they're talking,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take a picture of him
Ooh.
because it's not a silver tin type, so it should record an image.
Mm.
Are you?
This is gel photography. Let's get into the
So
history of camera.
here's an important
Get into
question.
it.
Are
Yeah.
you to get the picture? Are you staying in the circle, the salt? Because the salt is for ghosts, not for vampires.
Right. It's. I'm gonna try to get close enough to actually get a picture that includes his face.
Mm.
As you
With
step
flash, by the way.
you step
I'm
out
gonna be very
and take
clear that I'm using
a
the flash.
step or two, I need you. You suddenly feel this
Huh?
this coldness in your body as you see the captain go to possess you. Are you going to resist him possessing you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got
This
7
is
dice for that.
Atikoff.
I'm gonna use a willpower and try to thwart the unnatural with my 7 die roll.
Okay.
Alright,
Good luck.
Believe in me. Alright, we've got. Ooh, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, that one's cocked. Okay. So we've got. Yeah, that's a 9, 9, 9, 7, and 10. So we've got a
hell yeah.
six cool success.
6 cool success. So as the captain tries to start possessing you, you feel the coldness and you use that willpower and you hold on to your.
I literally just say, not right now.
And he just gets out and he's like, and he goes towards the vampire. That he's just gonna move towards the vampire. And yeah, that's what he's gonna do. You're gonna get your picture taken. He's kind of using Thaddeus as a shield.
Can I attempt to use repel the unnatural again? It doesn't necessarily require me to use like verbal components as long as I have an item.
You can do that, or you can stab him with a sword, whatever you like to do.
My pool is substantially better to hit him with this cross.
Okay.
I do not have any physicals. I forgot about willpower retests, so I'm gonna do one.
By the way, you do have a desperation dice now because you took a wound.
Ooh.
So add that desperation dice so you could get a despair.
I do like despair. That will bring it. That's a full crit. Oh.
Yes, there we go.
All right.
I got a crit and 2 more successes off of that willpower. That was probably one of the best willpowers I've ever done.
Oh.
So that's 5. So that's 3 normal successes and obviously 2 dice that have the critical.
Okay, so basically he drops you.
Yeah, so
he drops
7
you,
successes.
and he's like, and just runs, and just suddenly the streak of blackness it goes into the darkness. He's gone. And actually, he kind of runs past where that figure was, in that trench coat, that fisherman's coat and who isn't standing there anymore.
Mm.
The fisherman guy.
Yeah, do I
the,
see-
image of the fisherman's not there anymore?
Do I see the lettering?
You do see later. You can see what he was writing. Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna take a moment to gather myself and look around, watch for him, and if he seems gone, then I'm gonna go check out that writing.
Oh, can you tell if he's still nearby?
I will cover my eye. I will kind of try to sense him in the air. Let me roll that for him. One moment, Matilda. One moment. Let me get a read on him.
Oh, hey, actually, I just realized my redemption for my drive was was satisfied for this session.
Nice.
Oh, nice. That's a 2. I'm trying to find
You do not sense.
the good
Don't
captain.
sense him
Okay.
at all. And
He's gone
as
for a moment, Matilda.
we're gonna, and the captain kind of, as he kind of goes, looks back at you, and just kind of shimmies and disappears. As over the course of the next, you look at what was being written.
Mhm.
You dig up what you were digging, what you started.
Mm,
And as you find out is that on the wall where this human-like person was writing a set of numbers, 4 sets of numbers were written on the wall.
uh-huh.
4
Go
sets
on.
of numbers.
Just 4 sets of numbers were written on the wall.
Okay.
And as you dig up
Ah.
about 2 feet down, there's a metal box that has a whole bunch of wards and occult symbols wording on it. And as you eventually able to break, there's a chain on it too that you can open up. You break, and inside there is some papers and what looks like a fragment, like these are like old looking papers and like almost scrolls. And I'm not gonna have you roll. Actually, I do need an academic wits or intelligence and academics.
And I
mentioned
assume
the
we
box-
can no longer use the desperation die.
I know you still do.
You
You
mentioned
still-
the box is covered in occult symbols. Can I try to discern what that is using
Yes.
occult?
And you
knowledge?
said intelligence academics?
Intelligence academics this time.
And I'm sorry, Jay, can you clarify the intelligence academics? What specifically are we doing with that?
You're trying to understand what is in this box because there's what appears to be a paper scrolls and some other stuff, and anyone can roll on it. And then there's some sort of item in here as well in this box.
I
would
have
you
a
like to
specialty in
roll?
research. Could I add a
Ooh.
die
Yes,
towards the roll then?
What would you like the roll to be for the occult perspective?
you don't need to roll for the occult.
Oh, never mind.
You will recognize all of these symbols. These are
Awesome.
protective ward symbols of non-detection, of secure, and this was definitely the military that Captain Williams was a part of, that group.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely was all the symbols. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be 3 success dice,
Okay.
1 normal success. So that 3 critical success dice
oh,
and 1 normal. So it's 6 successes total.
perfect.
And before they're able to look at the papers and say, these are protective wards. These are here to keep it from being found and to keep it from being taken by something wicked when found. Perhaps we should look at these back in the Hunters of the Sigil headquarters.
Very wise idea.
Mm-hmm.
Hope, what was yours? Did you roll?
I had 3 altogether and doing
Perfect.
research on this. Yeah.
Mhm.
And as you get the item, you get back in your car and you drive back to this the Hunters of the Sigil. You get back to your house, and as you look it up, you realize after going through the proper steps that these scrolls are made of human skin, and that these are the book. These are from the book of Ebris, which is the vampire Bible. There are pages from there. And then the fragment is the Sargon fragment, which supposedly talks about a blood god.
Mm.
That this particular Captain Williams probably took during his World War I group squad escapades, hid him there, and protected them while he was the guardian of the lighthouse. And as you're sitting around making your report at the headquarters, what does the three of you do once you finally have completed this investigation?
Feverishly take notes.
Look, as someone who's been taking notes the whole time, it's not about taking notes. It's about making the notes into something. Like the way Matilda writes notes, that she writes her reports for the Hunters of the Sigil,
Mhm.
is like she's writing a newspaper story. So she does the whole thing where it's like Whitehall, a lighthouse, it's sunset. Like she's doing the thing describing, setting the scene, and goes
Mhm.
into the full story style of
Mhm.
notes.
Thaddeus is the exact opposite. It's only the raw data. It's nothing else.
Agents make great discovery at Whitehall Lighthouse.
And how about Hope?
Well, so I think Hope is well, I think Hope takes a moment within the headquarters to find the chaplain on staff to refill her holy waters.
Okay.
I
But
think I can help you with that.
Oh, good. Oh, thank you. Of course.
I am an ordained minister.
That's right. That's right. Oh, yes, yeah. I forget.
Reverend Dr. Thaddeus Marigold.
Yeah, I forget, Doctor, that the spirited blessings are never too far away when you're nearby. I think that she is making notes and trying to. I think she's trying to make sense of, because of the what we found there were clues to a World War II era occult research organization. Is that right?
World War One.
World War
Yeah.
One. World War One, exactly. World War One occult research organization. I think she's trying to form some links to that and understand what that organization. I think she's trying to kind of collect her thoughts and figure out what that organization could have had to do on the battlefields in general.
Okay.
Because she's had a few brief conversations with her brother, with whom she's got a very tenuous and strained relation, who has kind of been the reason she's been gone into this line of work.
Mm-hmm.
Could I possibly do some kind of a research study? Are there any files that I could maybe look in the headquarters?
Yeah.
To see if they have something about this organization?
I would say there was a small amount of information that you would have been able to find that maybe further down the line that if you wanted to continue, that you would have found that, yeah, there was a special unit during World War I on the supernatural, and that it's a continuation of like several other similar organizations on either side, and that they went and were looking up different supernatural to artifacts and things of that nature, and there were some encounters. They were hunters in a way, and they came across some artifacts, and they took them from a stronghold. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Matilda would also take the time to develop the photographs to be stored with her report.
Yep. No problem. That sounds
Also,
good.
once all the work is done and everything's like sorted out and neatly filed, Thaddeus is gonna go find a corner that he knows that no one else really walks through that often, and have a full-blown panic attack. Like he got strangled by a vampire earlier.
Your marks, like I said, they'll eventually heal. But yeah. It's And as the camera pans down of each individual, relaxing, finalizing all their reports, it fades to black. And that is where we're going to end our episode 1, 1939 episode of the White Hall Investigation. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for watching us on the vlogs. Very much appreciate you being here. As you can tell, we are starting our episode 1. We're starting off in the series. We're going to talk about that. Our next one is going to be in the 1960s. So we're jumping time frames. So some characters might be here, some may not. Maybe
Dr.
new,
Thaddeus will
same
return.
players, different characters. So we're going to be doing kind of a series up, and then once we get into the 80s, you're gonna see a lot more, series, so to speak. But a little bit of connections all around. We're just kind of see how things go. Thank you. I'd like to thank all of our players here. Please go around who you are. Where can we find you? Know that this is when we're pre-recording this, so it's definitely going to be later than what you're watching from now. So, but Daniel, how are you doing?
Yeah.
And anything you'd like to share?
Yeah. So I mean, again, I'm Daniel Pelletier, playing Dr. Thaddeus Marigold. You can't find me. I'm not anywhere.
The ghost.
I am a man of mystery. No, it's been awesome. This is my first time doing one of these, and it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciate it. Arnold, how are you doing, sir? And where can we find you?
I'm doing great, Jay. Jay, thank you for an excellent game. I'm so excited to finally do a stream with you. So my name is Artem Yatsanov. You can find me on Instagram at Artem Directly. I am a theater director and a fan of all things TTRPG. And by the time this comes out, the second season of my podcast and YouTube show, where I analyze scary movies and sandwiches, shall be out and available. This show is called Scary Movie and a Sandwich. And you could find out, be able to find it on YouTube and anywhere you find listening entertainment. And on Instagram, you can find a link tree with all the stuff that I've got going on. I've got a bunch of other streams I've been on. So thank you all so much for joining and for joining this game.
Thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciate it. Emily, thank you for being here. Thank you for the chaos. Thank you for all the assistance. How are you doing, and where can we find you?
I'm doing great. As per usual, you can find me on my own Twitch channel and on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Hive, all of them. My Twitch channel is formerly known as Emily, as is my Instagram. My Twitter is just formerly known as M. That's FRMRLYKNOWNASEM. Same thing on Blue Sky and Hive. And yeah, right now, just doing the Thursday, Sunday games. I'm hoping to be in a couple of other games. I know that there will be some other things coming up. Keep an eye on my socials, but I will announce anything that's going to happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I am Jay,
Right.
also known as NeoFit3 on the socials. You can find me at various conventions here Wednesdays for the Legends of Saltmarsh. Or excuse me, what do you mean? The Legend of the Natural Ones. But there are the Legends of Saltmarsh or Saltmarsh Legends coming back, maybe? In some new form? Oh,
The Legends of the Salty Ones.
No. Ooh. But no, thank you for joining us. We will be playing these on Tuesdays, and then Wednesdays are the Legends of the Natural Ones. We've got some other stuff. There's the Shadowport Adventures that I do at different conventions here and there that Emily is a part of as well. And we were looking at some of our other games that will be popping up here and there. So keep to the socials for more information on that. But again, thank you so much for being here. We greatly appreciate it. And the way I leave all my games would like to say is please be kind, but don't be a jerk. And with that, we are going to say good night, take care, and see you later.